It's no secret on this channel, I've been openly speaking about how I think Revelation chapter 6 and 9 are about to start. I just didn't know exactly when. And the reason why Revelation 9 is important is because the first part of that chapter, the locusts, are labeled as the first woe of Revelation. It's clearly the start of things. In my last video, I posited a sign about the fires coming from Canada that left a huge swath of smoke over the United States. The reason why this could be a sign is because the locusts of Revelation come out of the smoke. I would hope by now you would have watched the video Out of the Smoke in addition to the locust video. I do believe the smoke hovering over the United States is the sign of things to start fulfilling Revelation 9. Now the time frame of the locusts in Revelation is 5 months. We talked about the time before and its significance. The only thing is when it would start. I had theories, but in the last month I've been looking and waiting on a specific date. And that date was July 17th, just a few days ago. In the Gospels of Jesus Christ, you'll see references to the time of Noah and its connection to the end times. They are there for a reason. So I started to look closer at the time of Noah for connections to the start of things to come. And when you look at Noah, you should always look to the flood story.
You'll find this section when the water of the flood started to recede. Then God remembered Noah and every living thing, and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were also stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters receded continually from the earth. At the end of 150 days the waters decreased. Then the ark rested in the 7th month, the 17th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat. At the end of 150 days the ark came to rest in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month. Before I get to that date, we need to talk about something else. Some of you may have heard about chiastic structures. This device became known because of the flood story. It goes like this. In order, there were 7 days of waiting for rain, 40 days of rain, 150 days of waters prevailing on the earth. Then God remembered Noah. In 150 days the waters decreased, 40 days when Noah opened the window of the ark. Then he waited 7 days and sent out a dove. The structure goes in one direction, then comes back using the same numbers in reverse order. I don't think this is just some kind of literary device used by the writer of Genesis. The structure is used by many, if not all, of the authors in the Bible. It's that prevalent. But it goes deeper, beyond a literary device. I did this video about David and his son Absalom, which traced the movements of David when he fled Jerusalem and compared them to Jesus. It turns out that Jesus, coming into Jerusalem, reverses the steps of King David as he fled from his rebellious son. The movements of both of them are in the form of a chiastic structure. And here are a couple of other examples. Many wonder why the Gospel of John is written so differently than the others. Besides the thematics, the Gospel of John is in the form of a chiastic structure. In John chapter 2, there's a story of Jesus cleansing the temple from the money changers. Then in chapter 19, it talks about the body of Jesus Christ being cleansed after his death. This has all sorts of deeper meaning because the body of Christ becomes the new temple of God, and that's the connection to the temple being cleansed. These two things balancing out the beginning and end to John's gospel is on purpose. And in the book of Acts, the beginning starts with Jesus ascending to heaven, while at the end, in chapter 28, Paul is bitten by a snake and it's thrown into the fire. There's complete balance between Jesus ascending to heaven with a snake or serpent going into the fire, symbolically representing Satan's demise into hell. This balance is too perfect to be a coincidence. This chiastic structure goes beyond a literary device. It's used to track numbers and movements in the stories, and I think this can only be coming from God. So let's go back to Noah's flood. We know that the flood was the total destruction of the earth, and the destruction of the earth started to cease at the end of 150 days on the 7th month on the 17th day of the month. So wouldn't it fit a chiastic structure for the end times to start with a reversal of things in the flood story? I think it does, so hear me out. We know the locusts of Revelation are the start of things, since they are labeled as the first woe, and their time describes destruction. Also, their time span is 5 months. Then since the destruction of the earth in the flood story started to cease in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month, wouldn't it fit perfectly that the destruction of Revelation would start on July 17th, the 7th month, the 17th day of the month?
So what did happen on July 17th? The country of Ukraine has attacked a bridge in Crimea, which Russia had annexed as part of their own country. An attack on Crimea would be an escalation to this war in Russia's eyes. And in terms of warfare, Russia will have to respond. And respond they have by severe bombings in the city of Odessa. And more importantly, ending the deal to let Ukraine export its grain. And Odessa is the main port city where the grain comes out of. Now, do you think I'm reaching here? There have been lots of wars throughout the years. How can this one provocation and this war be part of the beginning of end times? Now we have to connect the second part of Revelation 9, and that's the story about the four evil angels. I've been talking about them in recent videos and how I think they've been released and their connection to the end times. I won't go over their whole story here. You'll have to watch my videos in the last year to see how they're connected.
But here in Revelation 9:17, there is this about the four angels. And thus I saw the horses in the vision. Those who sat on them had breastplates of fiery red, hyacinth blue, and sulfur yellow. Can you see the connection? The colors of the breastplates are red, blue, and yellow. The major conflict in the world today is between Russia and Ukraine. And if you think of Russia, you think of the red square in its capital, Moscow. You think of the color red. Well, the colors of Ukraine are blue and yellow. Whoa, that totally fits. And if the colors of the breastplates from the angels represent the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, then that means the four evil angels are on both sides of this conflict. And the flashpoint in this war escalating on July 17th could be the start of those four evil angels in Revelation 9. Well, that's getting interesting. But previously, we also connected those four evil angels to the locusts, since smoke came out of their mouths. And the locusts also came out of the smoke. Remember the video Out of the Smoke? The smoke from Canada's fires has been hovering over most of the United States for a few weeks now. We took that as a sign from the fulfillment of the locusts. And for our reference point in this video, we cited the flood of Noah, where the destruction from the waters on the earth lasted 150 days and ended on the 7th month, the 17th day of the month. In our video about the locusts, we discussed the leader of the locusts, whose name was Abaddon, meaning destruction, and how his reign lasted for 5 months. We also discussed in that video how Abaddon was connected to someone significant in our world today. You'll have to watch it to find out who it is. So the escalation between the Russia and Ukraine war happening on July 17th ended the grain deal, leading to the start of food supply problems in our world. This is all connecting perfectly, and using the date from Noah's flood is not some arbitrary thing. This is all connecting to those four evil angels in Revelation 9 because the flood came because of their actions in Genesis. We'll discuss that in a video next year.
Okay, those are pretty good connections, and this might be coming true if you believe that the Bible will literally be fulfilled. But can we go deeper and see anything else from the Bible? We know the time frame of the locusts runs 5 months, which is also 150 days, based on God's original plan of 30-day months.
So let's just track the reign of the locusts. July 17th, this last Monday, is right here about the middle of the month, leaving 14 days left in the month. We'll keep a running total on the right side here. August has 31 days in the month, September 30 days, October 31, November 30. We need to total this at this point to see how many days we need in December. The total so far is 136 days, leaving 14 days to complete our total of 150 days in the month of December. So from July 17th, the 150th day from that point lands on December 14th. That's a significant date and has a lot of deeper meaning.
In the book of Esther, there's a plot to kill God's people that is uncovered and thwarted by Queen Esther. This is celebrated by the feast day called Purim, or Feast of Lots. This is celebrated by the Jewish people on the 14th day in the month of Adar. The Jewish calendar does not conform to our modern calendar. The beginning of their year starts around March or April. But get this, Adar is the 12th month in the Jewish calendar.
If you took that description and placed it into our modern calendar, our 12th month would be December. So the 14th day of the 12th month would be December 14th. That same day, when 150 days ends between July 17th and December 14th, the theoretical time frame of the locusts. That's very interesting and could very well be the time frame connection I've been looking for.
This might be a manufactured coincidence of dates and numbers, or maybe things will start being exposed and significant events are going to start happening in our world. Remember, the time of the locusts are connected to the third horseman of Revelation 6. That horseman is described with scales, meaning the rationing of food. Exactly what locusts would do to a food supply, and what many are predicting will happen to the world's food supply soon. And the trigger of these events will be the ending of the grain deal and escalation of the war in Ukraine that started on July 17th. I hope you have some food and water on hand. The leader of the locusts means destruction. There are many who are predicting a financial collapse of the banking industry, the de-dollarization of the world, an El Nino weather pattern leading to extreme weather, and a food shortage from small harvests due to the move away from fossil fuels. All things culminating this summer and into the fall.
Remember what Jesus described about end times. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
If the escalation of the Russia and Ukraine war is the trigger of the beginning of sorrows, which includes famines, then we need to keep watching. The last time the world had a food shortage of this magnitude was the Great Depression in the 1930s, and we know what came out of the Great Depression: Adolf Hitler, World War, and the Holocaust against God's first chosen people. And if the Bible will be fulfilled as written, then there's no stopping this. There's only preparation for it. I'm here to help, and I really don't care if some think I'm crazy for buying into the Bible too literally. I believe this is coming. Whether I'm right on the date of this starting July 17th shall be known soon, or certainly by the fall. Keep reading your Bibles for yourself. Revelation 6, the first four seals, and Revelation 9, both the locusts and the four evil angels behind them, because this is the start of the first woe of Revelation, the 5-month period of destruction, which may have been triggered on July 17th. May God bless you all.